Morning. Hello there, I'm Tim, and he's mourning another year without a UK Eurovision win. And this is How to Murder Feet. Southwest Coast Path Part 2, Day 2, yes. Sunday the 13th? Yeah, why not? 13th of May. It's 7 in the morning, and I'm already all packed up and ready to go. What, me? No camping here. I was just sitting on a bench after walking all night. Yes, and it's a beautiful day, as you can see. I mean, I can't see because it's too beautiful a day. Look at that reflection off the sun there. Let me blow out the white balance on the yeah. There you go. So, and clear blue skies. A few shreds here and there. Yeah, so it's going to be probably quite a warm one today. So I might have to dig the suntan stuff out at some point. Yeah, so a recap. Yesterday was a pretty hard day. I really felt it. My legs are a little bit weary at the moment. My feet are okay. Got fresh socks on. Yeah, reasonable night's sleep actually. I mean, the tent's fantastic. Really does the job. Perfect size. A 2-man tent, which says a lot about me. Well, I have one man's worth of torso-sized stuff, hence the backpack. You know, that is another person, basically. Yeah, so that'll fit. I was able to sit up inside it with the door closed. I was able to turn round in the middle of the night when I realised I'd pitched on a slight slope and all the blood was going to my head. So I managed to actually do a complete 180 turn in my bag inside the tent without tearing it to bits. So that's good. I mean, downsize, it's slightly larger than the little black coffin of death, but... so that means it gets a little cooler. The heat isn't retained quite as easily, but that's what sleeping bags are for. Yeah, I got the whole thing down and packed up. I think I got up at about 6:15, and I think about 45 minutes to get myself all stowed and bagged up and ready to hit the trail right now, as it were. So that's good. So yes, I highly recommend Van Gogh. This is not. I'm not being paid to endorse any of this shit, but they're much better than the OEX. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So yeah, I had my little Eurovision party there last night. I came in halfway through it, to be honest, by the time I got all set up. Listening to Ken Bruce on my little tiny DAB portable radio on Radio 2 there. Did a reasonable job of it all. And then as soon as the acts finished and the voting started, I just went to sleep, to be honest, because I really don't understand modern Eurovision voting. It's and it seems futile as well, because I don't know what actually happened, but you get to the end of the thing, and all the votes are in, and everyone goes, "Oh, Australia are going to win! A victory for irony!" And then they do a sort of back of the room magic trick thing, and suddenly all the scores are completely changed because the public vote goes in on the top all of a sudden for all the countries at once, and the entire field reverses. So you might as well just not bother watching the voting anymore, or have it, indeed. Such an arbitrary thing. Anyway, I read on BBC News website this morning just now that Israel have won, so they'll be pleased. They're always quite up for it. Although what that will do to geopolitical tensions in the Middle Eastern region, I can only imagine. So today, I think it's about 12 miles today, but because it's a whole day and I haven't had to spend half a day on a train, I got an extra 6 hours to do that in. So that's certainly doable by any stretch of the imagination. 7 o'clock now, yeah, and I didn't set off yesterday until 1 by the time I got to Westwood Ho, 1 in the afternoon, so that means I have, yes, an extra 6 hours. Which means I'm likely to get to places while they're still open. It means I'm able to take more rest breaks without worrying about if I'm going to get the mileage in. I think my big mistake yesterday, and I was getting quite demoralised towards the end, there was a big long stretch of about 4 miles where I didn't bother filming anything because I was so miserable. I'm quite chipper now, it's fine. But I think my big mistake is trying to travel down and then start hiking on the same day. So something I noticed with the South Downs Way. Eventually you get further and further away. You take more and more time getting there. You've got less and less time to actually get the mileage in. So, to be honest, next time, because I'm going to have to start from Padstow for week 3, if I make it there this week, I'm just going to travel down and then stay in a B&B and then set out the following morning. Puts an extra day on my plans, obviously, but bear in mind, I take a whole week off for these, and then there's the weekend on each side, so that gives me 9 days to do this in each week, finger quotes. And last time I did it in 6, and I'm worrying, I might have to do it in 7 next time. So I'll still have 2 days in hand regardless. So, it's a sensible thing, I think, with these kinds of distances, because I live in Hampshire, and this is Devon. Devon still. We're not even going to get to Cornwall today, I don't think. the Devon-Cornish border on the coast path is past Hartland Point and down the far side on the way to Bude, so might not see that today. It might be tomorrow for that. But yes, today Hartland Point, which I don't know if you can see. No, too much trees and things in the way here. Hartland Point, and then round and then down to Hartland Quay, Quay, which is the official stopping point for day 2. But I'm going to try and push if I can, if I'm up for it, because the day after that is 15 miles over what the guide website describes as the most challenging day of the entire goddamn southwest coast path. So if I can shave some of that off before I get started on that day, that'd be good. Also, food, yes, I've eaten an entire bag of cashew nuts, which according to the back of the bag, says 1,000 calories roughly, last night, whilst supping amaretto and listening to European warbling. So I'm probably not going to bother with breakfast this morning then. I've got 3 more bags of nuts of a similar 1,000 calories each. But unless I can find some food today, that's going to leave me in a reasonably precarious state for Hartland Quay to Bude, which is the long one and the difficult one, and I'm going to need my belly fill. So I'm hoping to find something to eat today from a shop. There's at least 2 cafes I know about, but it is Sunday and who knows what time I'll hit them. One on Hartland Point itself I saw on Google Maps, and then Hartland Quay has some kind of B&B restaurant type thing, but that might or not be open depending on when I get there. So we'll have to see. There's nothing I don't think there's much in the way of village shops or anything like that, and it's a Sunday today as well, so that doesn't help. Out in these remote parts, these sorts of little village shops tend to close. There's not much of a 7-Eleven type culture out here. But if I eke my nuts out carefully, thicker, then I'll probably make it to Bude, and Bude is a proper town, so it'll have shops and co-ops and all sorts of things, so I'll be able to completely restock my bag and gorge myself stupid when I get there as well. Bude will be my midweek B&B stop as well, hotel, travel lodge, whatever. So that'll be nice, something to look forward to. A shower, change of clothes, a proper rest in a proper bed, charge my power pack, which has been charging this phone. So like I say, I took breaking the week into 2 halves, and I'm not even worrying about the Boscastle, Tintagel, Port Isaac, Crackington, Haven, Padstow sort of side of things. We'll get to Bude, have a bit of a proper night, and then, essentially another mini half week starts on the other side. So, gosh, I've been rambling for quite a while. I've actually turned the recording on. Oh yeah, that's good. That's always something. I do that a lot. I'll ramble at the camera while it's turned off, and then forget all my witty stuff when I have to redo the bit. So, So I don't know, feeling good. I mean, it's been challenging so far, but then the guide said it would be. And yeah, I think yesterday partly it was just shock of, oh God, I haven't done this sort of thing in a while, and partly you've only got half a day to do a day's worth of hiking in, which did push the pace somewhat and forced me to go a bit faster and harder than I would have otherwise done. So yeah, onward. Yes, very pleased with that tent. That's one major problem from last time solved. Of course, I think my inflatable mattress and my inflatable pillow have punctured or leak or something. So but then they're self-inflating, which means they've got an internal sort of honeycomb structure which tries to force itself to even if the valve's just completely open, they'll force themselves to a half-inflated state. So it's not a total loss. Just not quite as comfortable on the old hips as when I'm lying on the ground there. So that's all right. So I think my main concern at the moment is finding some shops that have got some food, but it's not a major problem even if I can't. So good. Right, enough wittering. Let's get on with it. See you in a bit later. And here we are, literally 200 metres away from where I camped is the moorland I was aiming for. Mind you, it's probably just as well because not unoccupied. Morning. Do you sell mint imperials? No, nothing. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I was planning on setting up somewhere on this bit of moorland here, to be honest, but don't want my tent being munched on in the middle of the night. So someone else was here first. Probably not wild ponies. Don't really get a lot of wild ponies around these parts, but probably belong to someone. Yeah, numbers marked on the haunches there. You are number 360. Why did you resign? No, nothing. Fine. Oh, but look at this. A viewpoint. Good. Well, we get some idea of what's ahead for us today. So, let's try not to stand too near the edge. Hoof marks though, fresh near the edge. Ponies that like to live on the edge. Horses, I guess. Too big for a pony. Anyway, did all that yesterday. No, that doesn't actually work on a camera, does it? Shading. Anyway, it goes quite a way. And then over there, the faint distance, that's Mortishoe Head, whatever, Mortishoe Point. That was like day 4 or 5 of the previous week. Some exciting rocks down there. Oh, there's a boat way out there. Lobster pot fisherman type thing, maybe. Early riser. I don't know. See, most people who are doing this madcap endeavour tend to go with the whole B&B approach. Hello, Shadow Tim. Like your hat, Shadow Tim. Yeah, they tend to go and B&B it and then do day stages with a small bag, and there's a bag ferrying service and so on. And that's all very well, do what you like, and indeed it's about walking the trail, not camping necessarily. That's just a bonus objective for me. But of course, if you're in a B&B, you want to stay for the B. Stay for the breakfast. That usually doesn't finish until, it usually doesn't start till about 7 or half 6 or something. And by the time you've stuffed yourself with sausages and scrambled egg, you're probably not going to hit the trail until about 8 or 9. Which means I get the place to myself for an early start. Because to be honest, you're not ninja camping well if you're still in place by 7 or 8. That's when you get caught and told off. By which point you've already spent the night, so you've already won, but you can do without the hassle. Alright, off down here? Yes, down here. So yeah, let's go over here first. Two hastily placed bushes there. Right, so yeah, so there's this one here. I don't know what this one is. That one over there, though, I think it's Heartland Point or a promontory leading to it. Anyway, so bit of cliff top stuff, and then we'll see what we can see. Quite looking forward to Heartland Point, which we will do today, because basically once we get around Heartland Point, all that sweep will go, which you can't now see, and we get an entirely new vista, which essentially is a big curving coastline that leads all the way down to St Ives. Hundreds of miles. I think Padstow is a kind of sticky, outy headland, but we'll see the entire rest of the week laid out before us along the cliff. Alright, we'll crack on. Here we are, at sea level again, dispiritingly enough. It's just down there. Yeah, some kind of old sea mine, I don't know. That's where they mine toffee. Devon Fudge mine there. I don't know, stonemasonry probably. Quarrying perhaps up the valley. Little cottage there, some sort of storage. I imagine there would have been some kind of primitive jetty or wharf or something made of wood one back in the day. Ships just load up and unload finest Devon toffee. Oh, you've got better data reception than I have right now. You look it up. So, what have we got there? There's a path that goes back up there, and then I go down that little step thing and probably across that valley, and I'm going to have to go up there somehow, I think, or round it or over it. And then over there, next headland getting nearer. It's all good. Yeah, good. Oh, hello, me again. Just having a bit of a sit down and think about my life choices. Just come off the back of that murder bastard zigzag path there, which was joyful. There we go. Focus, go on, you can do it. Focus, Mouth Mill. There we go, that's where I'm sat, just to where that green bit goes into the white, along the path there. Yeah, so we've got a nice bit of open moorland to do now. Open fields, in fact. Go on, focus again. There we go. So yeah, I think I was somewhere here for my night. So yeah, 1 square maybe. So we've got another murder bastard, revile and defile and ravine and whatnot over there, down and back up. Presumably looking at all those tightly spaced contours. God, each of those brown lines is 5 metres apparently. So yeah, I just did about 100 coming up there. Onto where I am now. 136 on the top of that hill further down there, but yeah, it all widens out onto the top of this plateau where we are now. Yeah, so I've got one of those to do, Windbury Head, and then that looks jolly, Brownsham Cliff. But once we get past that one, it does rather look better. We've got essentially cliff top walking all the way along the top of the cliff, all the way along the top of the cliff, radar station. That'd be interesting. See if I can film a bit of that without getting shot. And then on to Heartland Point itself. There's a parking space. Doesn't say anything about cafes on, but then I don't suppose ordnance they concern themselves with sandwiches much. Google Maps says there's a cafe there, but its open status is another matter. So, yeah, a bit of a long day. And then back down this side here, another murder bastard drop and climb. Bit of moorland, big hill thing there. All sorts of zigzaggy cliff stuffs. Rocket House. That's going to be underwhelming, I'm sure. And then I think, yeah, there we go. Let's see my penciled annotations. Day 2, day 3. So that hotel is where it thinks you ought to stay if you're doing it sensibly without a backpack. And it doesn't recommend going on for a longer option because it doesn't think there's anywhere to stay after that. But I bring my staying place with me. Yeah, so I can ignore that. But we'll see how I feel when I get out there. Yeah. And then this is all day 3 down here. Well, it doesn't look too bad. Famous last words. There's a lot of staying on the top contour, cliff top stuff. Yeah, there's a few ins and outs, but well, we'll see. We'll see. That's a problem for another day. There's Heartland Village itself, quite far inland. Some sort of abbey there. So there is a campsite there, but actually we mean caravans type campsite, and by God I'm getting the hang of this ninja camping, so I'm going to do it as much as I can. It's exciting. I did have a dream last night where someone grabbed my ankles and yanked me out of the tent, but then I woke up, so that was probably just an anxiety thing and didn't actually happen. But yeah, on the whole, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Yeah, so yeah, a bit of water, and then onward. Another couple of down and ups, and then a big long stretch of open cliff tops. So I'm going to have to do the suntan thing before I proceed, I think. Let's get the sunscreen out. Factor 30. I was reading, it's interesting, the factor 30 thing is not nearly as important as the 4 or 5 stars on the back. 'Cause I think the stars is the UVB, and that's the one that's the killer. So the SPF number's not nearly as important as the number of stars you see on the back of it. They already ought to emphasise the stars more. So yeah, there you go. Safety tips in the sun. Right, we're out that time. Can't really talk at the moment, so just take in the spectacular view. With heavy breathing over it. See the zigzaggy path on the far side where I was on the benches. And there's another bench right here. Interesting rock there. It's like Horace from Horace Goes Skiing, but like buried half in the sea, half poking up. Charlie Sheen in Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. I always get the Sheens mixed up, except Michael Sheen, who's obviously someone entirely different. I'm rambling and rambling. Yeah. Distant coastlines that I've already walked. It's quite a humbling thought, actually. I can look out there and see all of that sweep of majestic horizon. That must be about, what, 20, 30 miles away, maybe, given my elevation. And every single piece of coast I've been shot long. Not this week, but this week and the other week. I've pretty much done this bay to death. Heartland Point, because they go around the corner and there'll be an entirely new bit of bay to look at in Lundy. Still sort of heading north, I think, at the moment. That's one more bastard river cutting dealt with. Oh, they keep coming up. So I think there's another smallish one, and then there's like about 5 or 6 miles of cliff top, which should be nice. Could do with some flat bit about now. So this is a Winbury Hill Fort. Not much left. You can make out a few bumps in the grass, but very low mounds. Good place for a hill fort. Commands the view of the approaching enemies and stuff. Just had a 15-minute break, which has probably helped. It's nice. I've been sat in this grass here, which is absolutely soaked with dew. It's lovely and cool. So I've got wet trousers now, but that can sort itself out, I'm sure. Repeat of the steaming crotch incident. actually. Little grim memento mori here. In memory of the crew of a Wellington bomber which crashed beneath these cliffs on 13th of April 1942. PO H.W. Russ, FO E.A. Blair, Sergeant C.T. Daniel, PO L. Noble, PO F.C. Leben. This memorial was erected in their honour in 1988 and seems to be recently commemorated also. Poppies and... It's in the middle of nowhere here, it really is. There's about 3 miles to the nearest car park, judging by the signs, but God, what a kicker. Yeah, well into the swing hill. I don't know what they must have had bases for the long range bombers and stuff. The fighters would have taken off from like Kent and things, joined them as they came over, I don't know. That way you keep them out of reach of enemy fighters and bombers, I suppose. But North Devon, oh, it could be an Atlantic thing. Atlantic fleets and whatever. I don't know if Wellingtons were used against ships. Don't know. Bloody wars everywhere. I mean, it's good that there's commemorative stuff and memorials and people remember and stuff, but I do sometimes wonder how long we're going to have to carry on remembering the First World War. I mean, we don't have like a minute's silence for the Prussian War or anything like that. Sooner or later these wars will have to fade into the past. New generations make new mistakes, I suppose. Don't know. Anyway, yeah, on a lighter note, look at that. Lovely Devon countryside, all greens and blues. Puffy white clouds. I'm going that way next, so I can muster the strength to put the bag back on. And then probably over there and up onto that far green one, which you can't really see because the hedge is in the way. But it's lovely up here, really nice. Yeah, any of these spots would have done for some ninja camping. So there's places if you look for them. Just have to be careful about what's grazing in what fields generally. Right, let's do it. Oh, right, well that should be the last one of those for a while. Should be nice. Just going to sit on this stile and I don't care who's trying to come through. So we'll just go up over there and then hopefully it's a big long 3 miles of gently undulating topland like that. Should be nice. Can do those. They're not so bad. So it suddenly drops 50 metres over, like 50 metres. That's when you have to put the shoulder to the grindstone or something. Puffy clouds. See, they seem to form over land. It must be to do with temperature differentials or something. I'm not really a meteorology guy, but I know someone who is. But yeah, nothing at all out at sea, and then the air comes in. I mean, I presume it's southwest winds today. Did write it all down, but it's on a different file on my phone, so I can't get at it at the moment. Yeah, it starts to cloud up as it goes across the land. Sea keeps a more uniform temperature than land. Land tends to heat up and cool down faster into more extremes, I think. Which is why coastal climates tend to be milder than in the middle of the steppe or Siberia or whatever. That's why most of Britain is quite mild and damp and temperate, because I don't think you're rarely ever more than 100 miles from the coast in this country. Some coast or another. Big long L-shaped island. Yeah. That's probably why we have a national fascination with the coastline. Hence me being here and this path being here. Oh. Lovely. But yes, tiring of this bay. Trouble with uplands, less shade. So we have to just press on through. I've got my hat, I've got my collar turned up like a cool teenager, which might give me a bit more shelter from the back of the neck. Got my suntan stuff on though, but of course that's going to sweat. I imagine I'll need to reapply at relatively regular intervals if I want it to work at all. But I'm just going to be comically lobster red by the time I go back to work, so why fight it? I don't care. Yes, tweet, tweet, tweet. Lots of wildlife out here, but I'm on too short a schedule to stop and admire it. Right, onward. Look at this, lovely open high top grasslands here. Ninja camp anywhere along here. Oh, people, first ones I've seen coming the other way, which is good. Just past them and then that's that. I think they're coming off from the side there. There's also some car parks and smaller walks around here. Remains a fine day. Yeah. Too hot for jackets. I've got 2 layers on, so I think about taking my shirt off or something. Or my undershirt. Still. Only time to consider that drastic alternative. There's Lundy, still. Yeah, good stuff. My arm's not long enough to get nearer. Yes, that's the radar. Should be going around the base of it, I think. Look onto the map. And I think somewhere over there, one of these things is the cafe. Possibly that small green shed, if the pictures were anything to go by. Yeah, 11:30. I expect to rock up there just for luncheon. Lovely. And I shall just eat whatever they've got, frankly. And not stop. God. And then look over there, that's more Atlantic Ocean. So we swinging around the end of here and then heading off down that coast over that hill next. So that'll be interesting. Should be able to probably see Padstow once we get around the end of there. Should be yeah, I don't know how I feel about seeing my journey's destination 4 days away, creeping ever slowly closer. Still progress though. I mean, we will no longer be seeing that, which is Woolacombe and Braunton and Saunton Sands, all that. Croyd. And there's Lundy still there. Yeah, oh, it's lovely up here. Really lovely. As long as I don't, lobster to death. Onward, I hunger. Lots going on here. Some sheep. There they are. Hello, do you sell mint imperials? Nothing. Here is a big radar tower thing. I don't know if that's like an air traffic thing or a military thing. Not a huge security presence, whatever it is. It's probably a sign on the other side. So they're humming away inside its big football on the top there. Oh, and there's the sea. I think you've seen that already. That's Hartland Point. There's like a radio mast on next to a little hut there. Maybe mobile phone, I don't know. You can't actually see the lighthouse. I caught a glimpse of it as I was coming around, but it's the other side of that rock there. Not much use if it's this side, clearly. I don't know if I'll be going down to the point, because it looks like a long way down and a long way back up, and only so much energy in a day. I've seen lighthouses before, it's fine. You probably can't even go in it anyway. That is the cafe. That shed with the picnic tables outside. I don't care, as long as they sell food and cold drinks, that's good enough for me. So I'm going to go down there and gorge myself stupid. Talk to you later. Happy Tim, happy. I'm happy for a number of reasons. I'm happy because I just had a lunch hour. Had an hour long break in that cafe where they served me a ploughman's lunch. A block of cheese the size of my a similar quantity of bread and ham and pickles and pickled onions and all sorts of stuff. And to follow Black Forest Gatto Sunday, which drew envious stares from the other picnickers on the benches there. So if I find no more food at all today, I probably will be fine for the rest of the day anyway. Like a 1300 calorie meal there probably. That's good. So I can leave my nuts intact. I mean, if there's any criticism of that cafe, is they didn't stock it. There wasn't much of a shop in terms of stocking up non-meltable snacks to take with me, but it's a cafe, not a shop, it's fine. They're polite and helpful. They even filled my water bottles up with tap water for me, which is nice. So I got full 2 litres of water. Now, good to go. I'm also happy because I've been studying the map, and Hartland Quay, which is the theoretical end of day 2, is actually 3 miles that way. It's 1 o'clock now. I could probably be there by 3. this afternoon, even if I dawdle, which is frankly ridiculous. But that makes me happy because that restores some faith in my abilities, faith in my ability to cover the ground and do the distance. I was just badly skewed by only having half a day yesterday and trying to get a whole day's hiking in on it. That was the problem. So yeah, obviously in future travel on a separate day to starting the hiking. But today will have done 12 miles I think in I don't know, 3 p.m. by the time I get to the end of it, and that means I'll still have about 4 or 5 useful hours of sunlight left after that. So I'll have a poke around at Hartland Quay, see what they've got in the way of shops, maybe get some supplies if necessary. I don't even think I'll need a big dinner there because it's only 2 hours since I've had a big dinner here. So I'll have a mooch about, check the shops and stuff. I think I saw the public convenience on the map, so I'll probably top up the water from a sink as well if I've got reused any. And then I'm just going to push on south and see how far I can get before sundown, before I find a decent pitch. Because once I pass Hartland Quay, that's all bonus mileage, which I don't have to do on my 15-mile to Bude section. So look. New Vista. I don't know how much you can see down there, but there's some cliffs there, some land in the distance. But that's basically going to be the view for at least the rest of this week. Probably the next one I do in September, I'll be seeing some of that coast as well. So there we go. So we get to say goodbye to Mortishead Point, Croy and so on, all along that coast there. I think we said goodbye to Wales last time. Can't really see that, it's too far away now. Maybe just a faint haze on the very far horizon. There's Lundy. I expect we'll probably see that most of the way around the rest of the coast if we look north. And this is Hartland Point. There's a lighthouse. So it's closed to the public, including the road that approaches it, which is, now I'm up on this hill, I'd quite like to stay up here as long as possible. That is the North Atlantic, and that is the Bristol Channel, and Hartland Point defines the boundary. That and some point on the far end of Wales as well, Worm's Head possibly. So that's all the Bristol Channel in there still. That big boat out in the distance, white boat, you can just about see it. Now this is the Atlantic, this is where all the surfing comes from. But, we'll be seeing lesser surfing going on probably a lot of next week. Certainly some in Bude. Yeah, the rugged, endless sea. There's nothing out that way till Newfoundland, really. North coast of continental America. And there's my next bit of hiking to do. So I've got some zigzaggy back down off of here. This is like a old radar station, Coast Guard watch post that no one uses anymore. It's also there we go, some epic North Atlantic coast there, torn up by time and the elements. And weird parallel rocks there. Happens a lot around here. Just came down there. Just got to go up there. No, still, I'm happy. It's all good. I like the off-grid apocalypse survival shack there. Why wait for an apocalypse? Yeah, right, let's keep at it. What a rugged coastline. It's a bit up and down at the moment. Lots of people about too. It's that time of day for it, I suppose. Must be out getting on for 2. People out doing their little walks. I haven't seen anybody kitted out for a long distance, so I guess they're all just parking in car parks and doing little loop trips around the place. That's good. Get out and see the place, yeah. Some kind of cross-channel thing over there. I don't know if anything goes from Bristol to Spain or wherever. It might be a container thing. Don't know. Little triangle sail over there as well. Yeah. Maybe that could be my next thing, my next obsession. Get myself one of those and sail single-handedly around the world. Don't know how much they cost. I have no previous sailing experience, but you know, I had no experience of walking around the coast path either, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll have to look into that. Could see that. Professional sailor. Don't know, would you end up being a deckhand on some oil sheik's boat or something? Some oligarch? Probably a bit old for that kind of thing. Yeah. Just jack it all in and travel the high seas. Laying siege to unprotected merchantmen. Or something. Is that still a capital offence? I don't know. Anyway, Somali pirates ruin the image for everyone. So here we are, this is the Vale of the Medusa. Or is it the Vale of Woe? I don't know. It's a pretty picturesque looking vale anyway. I'm sure I've seen it in a B-rated sci-fi thing before. Now I need to go down and through it to the other side. When there was a perfectly good footpath along the top that I'm not allowed to use. Oh, you wacky acorns. Anyway, off we go. Oh, this is odd. Yeah, sign points this way. I think it's the first time this trip. I think there's a few cobbled driveways and things I've been on, but actual road. Wandering along. Oh, some sort of... Yeah, so here I am on tarmac, ready to dive into nettles, the first chance I hear a car. So it's 7:30 and I found my spot, I think. This is an amazing place here. This is on the cliffs of Knapp's Head, possibly. They're often called that. Don't know why. Anyway, I've had a good old look at the map and I reckon I've put an extra 4.5 miles on today, which is good. That's basically 10.5 miles instead of 15 miles tomorrow, which is just as well, because I had a good old look at the map and there's about, I counted about 9 or 10 of the bastard down then up the river cuttings between here and Bude. And the nearest one is just over there. You just sort of see it there. So if I carry on any further, then I'm going to ruin my splendid afternoon by massive physical exertion and near heart attack. So I've found a bit of grass here. There we go. That's relatively flat and relatively far away from the cliff edge. Super soft and clumpy. I don't think I'll need the air mattress tonight. And if I position the tent right, the sun will set through my open tent door. So this is a fantastic spot to watch the sunset from. You can't really see much of what's going on there because of, you know, white balance and stuff. But yeah, in about an hour and a half to an hour, that's going to look amazing. And I shall of course bring you footage. But for now, I'm just kicking back and killing time until it's late enough to get away with pitching the tent. I mean, I haven't actually seen anyone in about 3 hours, so I think possibly this is just too remote apart for casual day tripping. It suits me fine. Of course, sod's law, there'll be some like night fishing lot come along in the middle of the night or whatever, but as long as I'm not actually literally on the path, I think most people are decent enough to just go around and not, you know, set fire to my tent and kill me or anything. So yeah, this is a perfect spot, I think. I mean, I could push on, but there'd be not really much point. I'd just end up tiring myself out. And must have done about 15 miles today, nearly. Which, you know, is not my personal best, but given the terrain involved, pretty good going. My feet are starting to... I don't want to swim. So this is probably a good place to stop. I mean, you know, in other respects, I'm healthy. I mean, the feet, yeah, they're starting to get that. That's a distance thing. That'll be all right tomorrow if I stop now. My knees, a bit of a twinge on the right. So yeah, I'm in good shape. I've just eaten an entire bag of jelly beans. They were actually quite good, you know, quite tasty. Some cream soda ones in there. You don't get that very often. But yeah, the water situation's got me worried a bit. I've got effectively 1 litre left for the whole of tomorrow. So I come up with a plan. I'm going to try strike inland off the path, which I don't like doing really on these trips, but needs must. It's about 1 kilometre inland to the village of Morwenstow, I think it's called. And hopefully, there's definitely a pub symbol on the map there, but I don't know what time I'll get there or whether they'll be open, but maybe they'll have an exterior tap or something, I don't know. Or if they're open, they can fill my bottles for me if I purchase something, which I'm happy to do. And then back to the path and carry on with 2 full litres of water. But until that's verified certainty, I need to husband the 1 litre I've got, because that might be all I get all day. Unfortunately, amaretto doesn't really help. I mean, it is liquidy, but it's not very hydrating. Yeah, so that's a minor worry, but apart from that, I think that's about the only thing I'm really concerned about at all.